Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Rock Topic Podcast.
There it is.
Yep. You need to move your mic closer to your face.
I think I do.
All right.
Unexpected.
Perfect. The unexpected. Welcome back. Just wanted to start off once again by thanking the Osseo Nickel Barn and Coffee Shop.
Of course.
For allowing us to have some coffee, stay in here late night, and get some in-person sessions of the Rock Topic Podcast. Leave it in the comments if you like this better, because it's going away at the end of the month.
But it will return occasionally.
Eventually. We're trying to do it in sessions so we could get a whole month's worth of episodes out in one, recorded in one night. So, all right, Zane, what's our topic?
I believe it is the doors.
The doors.
Not the windows.
The doors. So this is going to be a Zane Teaches, Professor Zane episode, because I don't know much about the doors.
And I absolutely love the doors.
I just know that, into this world we're born, you know what I mean?
Out of all the songs you could have referenced, Riders on the Storm is quite a song choice there.
Well, it's just like, that's one thing that, like, I know most people I've talked to about the doors, like, it's like, Riders on the Storm, and then everyone's like, because of, like, the length and how repetitive it is in that nature. But, of course, there's a reason everyone knows it.
I was gonna say, is there like are we just gonna start off this by talking about Riders on the Storm? Like,
well, take it away.
Angle we're going?
Take it away. Go where you wish. You are Professor Zane. You got me in class. I'm taking notes.
With Riders on the Storm. So, Jim Morrison was super into, like, the mystique of
riding, like, into the storms. Like,
what's the, like, tailgating? No.
Oh, storm chasing.
No. Tailgating is, you're like, no. Yeah, storm chasing.
Oh my god.
No, what's the hitchhiking? I'm an idiot.
Tailgating.
No, that's why I did the thumb thing. Like, you guys couldn't see it, but I did the thumb thing when you're like standing on the side of the road.
Oh, I gotcha.
No, so he was like super into like the mystique of
like, comment, and subscribe if you'd like to see a video of the Rock Topic Podcast with some cameras, all that kind of good stuff. Anyway,
he was super into it because, like, are you picking up the murderer, or are you the murderer, or is a hitchhiker the murderer, or like something like that, like. The unknown, right? It's like it's one of those fear of the unknown things.
Yeah,
but he loved it.
Okay.
So, Riders on the Storm was actually like the base of that song is "Ghost Riders in the Sky" by Johnny Cash.
Oh, okay.
So they start out with that song, and the freaking Ray Manzarek, the pianist or the keyboardist, I guess, of the group, he wanted it to sound like raindrops in the beginning, with the keys, so like that little like right, like
I love
wanted that specifically to sound like
I love that
you're riding in a storm.
Oh man, what a storm! Like, what I mean, I feel like storms are one of those things. Like, especially like living here in the Midwest, I always think of like they're so respectable, much like Motley Crue.
Whoa, there it is. I was waiting. I mean, Robbie Krieger uses a Strat. Mick Mars,
yes, absolutely. I mean, like, if you want to talk about a storm and the way that they kind of took over the scene a little bit in that genre, of course, we are speaking of none other than Motley Ray Vaughan. No,
I was gonna say.
I'll drop it.
You were gonna talk about the Doors crew.
No. You think Motley? Insert Motley, of course.
No, but like the Doors crew.
Yes.
I get it. Motley crew, Doors crew,
the Doors crew.
Because like we did Motley Ray Vaughan.
Is Motley Ray Vaughan the Doors crew?
The Doors crew.
The crew.
The crew.
The lamest mashup of names.
Just drop the Doors.
Yeah, drop the Doors part. We just keep the. So it's just the crew. With the umlaut spelling of crew. Oh, man.
But with Riders on the Storm. I love
The amount of like, all right, bringing it back.
Well, because I mean, we started on one of the best songs they've ever written, so it's like there's a lot to talk about.
This will not be the Doors episode. Actually, this will be the Riders on the Storm episode. And then
we're gonna throw "L.A. Woman" in there because that's probably the best song.
I was gonna say, as I said that, I can already like imagine the YouTube analytics of like, here's where you lost most of your viewers.
Well, I mean, but even on the first album, you got like Breakthrough on the other side. Anyway.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at, the Spotify discography.
And with Riders of the Storm, they wanted it to sound eerie. Like that was the whole goal of the song. So it's like how long is the song? Like 9 minutes or something like that?
Yeah, it was 9 minutes of eerie. That's for sure.
And what's cool about that is that like there's an overdub of the lyrics, which a lot of people. Yes, is there?
No.
Is there a thought?
No. my head is empty. I'm just laughing.
Head empty.
No thoughts. Head empty.
But with Riders on the Storm, there's like an overdub of the like vocals, which most people don't like pay attention to because like you don't listen to all that. But it adds to the mystique because Jim Morrison will be like Riders on the Storm, but like below that. There's a whisper that's like Riders on the Storm. And like it's supposed to be like an uncomfortable, like you don't know where the song's gonna take it.
Yeah.
And there's no like crazy instrumental break. It's just that constant
I will
tension.
Say that's one thing for me that makes me both intrigued by and also not intrigued by that song in a way, is like I will listen to it and my, your musical brain will always be like, all right, there's building to something here, because they have like the "Riders on the Storm" and then they have the okay, it went up, and then you have the it's back to the same, and it's like you get like the thing, and it's just like, and then you're like looking at the whatever you're listening to this on, like a radio in the car or whatever, and you're just like, all right, maybe next time, maybe the next verse, and then it's just like,
oh yeah, that's one thing that I want to hit very clear with the Doors, in my opinion, is that like look at every like band, there's that one usually the guitarist, that is like the showstopper, like it's always that one instrument that takes the stage, and it's usually the guitar.
Yeah.
But with the Doors, I feel like they all are given their own, like they're all equal. Like Robbie Krieger could definitely write some like interesting licks and riffs and solos, but like as many times as you hear Robbie Krieger shred, I mean, it's pretty. I would say shred.
1960s shred.
Rip through the song with the guitar. You're gonna hear Ray Manzarek on the keys. You're gonna hear John Densmore on the drums. There's no bassist.
Okay, that's unique, I think.
Yeah, so it's Jim Morrison's singing, Ray Manzarek on the keys, Robbie Krieger on the guitar, and John Densmore on the drums. So there's no bassist, and they all like work together. Like it's just like there's not one instrument that is above the other. They're all equal. And you could really hear that. See, we're going to swap off Riders on the Storm to go to I don't want to say my favorite, because I don't want to lock myself in that box.
Yeah, no, because then we'll change it, and we'll have another debacle, of course, as to what the best blank is. I feel like we need to have that feud every episode,
But you don't know much about the Doors. So
no, of course not.
So what's the best Doors song to you?
Oh, Jimmy Page, for sure.
Oh, all right. You're like, I don't know, the one called Black Dog?
Yeah, no, Heartbreaker. I'm a big fan of Heartbreaker.
Is that a yeah? I like vigorously go through my every album fully added from the Doors. I'm like, is that an unreleased track?
Yeah, you're like, it's, the stairway to the doors. The door to the stairway.
But
Everybody leave in the comments below what time you think it is when we're recording this.
yeah, it's definitely not a time.
Everybody rethink your answer and type it one more time after hearing that.
I know I shed some time light on that. But for LA Woman, that's the title track of their last album.
I think you mean La Woman.
La Woman. But this song was made as like it's to show you that
There are women in LA.
Well, the reason it's called LA Woman is because it's talking about someone like...
Don't tell me.
A woman.
A woman in LA.
A woman in LA.
Just don't tell me. Sorry, continue.
But
oh my God.
it's actually the Doors are pretty meta because they're talking about like a generation that gives itself so much like free passes to, like be free and like do whatever you want. Also gives itself the license to destruction. That on the same key, like if you're gonna like allow yourself to be free of all shackles of like social norms, which is a good thing, right? Not sticking to social norms, but you also have to deal with the consequences of like people who don't agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
So like LA Woman is like, it's like LA is this big like mystical place that people are like, we gotta go to LA.
Yeah,
but when you get there, it's like it just looks pretty, but underneath it all, like it's like a terrible place to be for like your mind. And
I was gonna say it's like it's like that North Korea thing where it was like, please.
I was not expecting North Korea to be brought up in any of our podcasts.
Well, no, it was that wasn't it North Korea? It was like in the you must have, maybe it was in the movie, like the interview with Seth Rogen.
I'm sorry.
I think what they
podcast after this, I'm gonna mention North Korea.
Well, I think it was in the interview with Seth Rogen, and I can't remember who else was in that movie.
What's his name?
Yeah. The guy, isn't it the guy who played,
what's his name, Jonah something?
Remember, not Jonah Hill.
Yeah.
Is it Jonah Hill?
Yeah, it's Jonah Hill.
No.
No, anyway. It's a
it's the dude who played,
It's James Franco?
Yes, James Franco. Yes, James Franco and Seth Rogen. That was important. But it was in the interview. They go to like North Korea to visit. Yeah, that's what I was going for. Yep, that's what I was looking for.
Spider-Man. Oh no, it's happening. The Doors. No.
The Doors.
North Korea, actually.
North Korea, of course. To finish what I was gonna say about that is, it's like the whole thing with they like go there and they're like, oh, this is a very nice looking place, and it's all like actors and like cardboard cutouts of buildings that are like flat, like all 2D, and it's like all a show to like put on like, oh no, it's a great place, we treat our people so well, and it's like there's literally just, they're in a desert with like a town set up like Kid Nation type stuff, where it's just nothing for hundreds of miles.
That's actually a really good analogy, because like,
especially when it takes 5 minutes to get through.
I'm going through the lyrics right now. Because I think that the lyrics are pretty powerful. Like, so it's played at a major scale, right? So, like, he says that he just got into LA, I just got into town about an hour ago or whatever. And then he says that he meets a girl in Hollywood, and he said, are you a lucky little lady in the city of light, or just another lost angel, city of night? But it's all on the major scale, so it sounds real happy. Super upbeat, fast-paced song, whatever. Yeah. And then just going through, like, how terrible it is, and, like, how there's all this, like, crime or whatever. And like my favorite part of the entire song is when like they go cops in cars, the topless bars, never saw a woman so alone, and then, well, he says it 4 times, and then after that he goes motel money, murder madness, let's change the mood from glad to sadness, and then it switches to a minor key, and there's an instrumental break. So so from glad, the major scale, to sadness, then there's an instrumental break where they just like, kind of like, I'm trying to figure like the best way to explain it, but it's like they just like let it simmer, like they know what they did, right?
Yeah, like some nice pan sadness, simmering fruit.
Yeah, like they just like know what they did, and they give it like they have this wonderful like bluesy break of all minor, like you feel it, like it's amazing, and then like it's a slow build up, and then it ends super high energy. But like that one's like, and that I just think it like fits the song so well because they're going through the whole like, oh, it's all happy, haha, death. There's a lot of like crime. It's like terrible plays, Yeah, and then it just gets to like, wait a minute, wait, why are we happy? Let's change it to sadness, and it's like it's so like, gorgeous. Yeah, I wish we could play it for you guys.
How about that, you do? Now that I've blown out everybody's ears while talking to the YouTube higher ups that are obviously listening to our incredible podcast, it's the best one in the world, actually.
I think so.
There's Smo Jogan or something like that, Bro Jogan. So I don't remember his name. He has an experience. He has an experience, I think. But is he like, we are experienced, as we've all, that's a question that's been asked many times over, is are we experienced? We are. Yep. Yeah. The Joe Brogan experience. We're approved. What's our topic? Oh yeah, the Doors.
The Doorsies.
The Doors.
One thing I love about the Doors.
Mm-hmm.
In line with the changing of gladness to sadness, because I love Jim Morrison's voice. Like every song he does, he literally can sound like a different person. Because in Riders of the Storm, he's very like clean, like quiet kind of thing. Yeah. But in LA Woman, he's like super right, like he sounds like a burly dude. Yeah. There, but in Riders of the Storm, he sounds like reserved, like almost if like you didn't know it was the same band, you would think it's a different singer.
Yeah. You know what I just thought of?
On the same album,
yeah,
by the way.
That's cool.
That's insane.
I just had an idea. We gotta cover one for... we have to cover one on Pearl Jam for a certain friend of ours. Would probably love and hate to hear an episode of the podcast. I
have a lot of love
Pearl
to
Jam.
give, but Pearl Jam has
released
a lot of stinkers.
A lot of stinkers.
A lot of stinkies.
Yellow Bedwetter is a good one though.
I'm not gonna lie. You kind of sent me back. You reset my brain a bit. I was like, that's not the name, right?
No,
you the question if it was the name.
I just always make fun of our friend who is a huge Pearl Jam fan. I don't even really make fun of her. I just make fun of the fact that
she's definitely
Yellow Ledbetter versus Yellow Bedwetter. I just thought that was funny. So look at me, ha ha ha, big funny man.
The Windows, right?
No, you're close.
The Doors.
Yes. The doorway to the stairway.
Have you heard any, like... I'm sure you've heard songs, but, like... Do you listen to any Doors songs? Like, do you have any on your playlist, or...?
No, not immediately. But for those at home and myself, what should I be adding?
Oh, me? Okay.
No, I was talking to the other guy.
So, I never hear people talk about this one, but I think Cars Hiss by the Window, or My Window? Cars Hiss? Whichever one. It's a very good song. A lot of people don't talk about it. It's on LA Woman. I would say you have to add Soul Kitchen. I'm trying to steer away from like the Break On Through or Light My Fire. Everyone knows that one. Those two, they're a must, Like, you can't have The Doors without those songs.
Yeah.
Same with Roadhouse Blues. That's a great song.
Anytime I hear the word fire in a song title, all I can think of is the song Fire by Jimi Hendrix, just because I love that.
It's a good song. Whamp, whamp.
Do. Yeah. And then you get this round. Yes. You get this like round, empty, full, resonant, static. Do 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 do. Do 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 do.
Oh, you're talking about the drum?
No, just the doom 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 doom. It's just so like that tone is so good.
What guitar he was playing on?
It sure sounded like a Strat of some kind. I don't know which one.
Right, and there's a band that we are talking about right now that the guitar player also uses a Strat.
Just like
Mick Mars of the Motley Crue.
Oh my gosh!
I can guarantee you, there's like, people that listen to this and they're like, dude, Motley Crue sucks. Like, why do they keep talking about Motley Crue?
I'm gonna do you one better and retract even further on that statement. I bet there are people listening to this.
You're like, that's it.
That's the end of that.
I sure hope there are.
The Doors?
The Doors.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, let's go through a brief history of how they got together. So Jim Morrison actually did not... Oh, well, hold on. Let's go straight to the beginning. When Jim Morrison was a kid... this is all loose, okay, guys? Don't, attack me. I know there's some frickin' Doors legend out there that studies the Book of Doors. That knows way more than me, that dates, and if I get part of the story wrong, don't
just got
skin me alive.
Somewhere some Home Depot employee is like dun 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 dun, knowing a lot about doors.
But when
guess
Jim
what time it
Morrison
is in the comments.
a kid, they were driving through the desert of California, and they stumbled upon a wreck of Native Americans. And Jim Morrison said that he felt like a Native American shaman transfer into his soul.
Whoa.
So, he does a lot of, shaman yelling in some of his songs. Not a lot. It's not, an overt thing. He does it every now and then. And it sounds good for the song, but, knowing the story behind it, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Jim Morrison was kind of a nut job.
Yeah, well, what successful artist of the 60s, 70s kind of wasn't to some extent.
Right, but, he kind of is, I feel like he's in a tier of his own or whatever. But he actually was training to become a film... Not a filmmaker, but with poetry.
Ah, poem maker.
So he made a poetry film short for his class because he was in school for it.
Gotcha.
And a lot of people were like, oh, it's bad, it's good. They're it's a little too raunchy, sexual. And Jim Morrison was like, dude, it's the sexual aspect of my poetry is a deeper meaning. So he got kind of butthurt that they didn't like it as much as he wanted it to. So he left it, but his best friend, Ray Manzarek, the keyboard player, was also in that class with him, and he was like, dude, it's alright, man. Don't worry about it. Everything will be fine. And then Jim Morrison was like, but I want to get my stuff out there or whatever. And I know you play an instrument, and he's like, I certainly do. And he's
well,
like,
my broskies, I gotta bounce.
Go ahead, finish it.
No. This is a PG-13 podcast.
But then Ray gives him the idea to turn his poetry into lyrics. So he does, and then Ray knew a few people few people by the name of, Robbie Krieger.
Nice.
And Robbie Krieger knew John Densmore, so they just kind of put all the talent together.
Imagine being like, I know a guy.
And then you become the Windows, and super popular.
Yeah, the extended window frames.
Yes. Real quick, guys. Is a glass door just a giant window?
Is it used for entry and exit on a regular basis?
But what if... No, because there's some weirdos out there who have sliding doors that don't use them.
I don't know.
We are one that has a sliding door.
Well, I have a sliding glass door, and I use it, and you sometimes exist at my house.
That's
so
true.
you do use a sliding glass door.
But not the one that at the house that I live at.
No. I mean, you have one, but there's nothing on the other side of it.
Well, that's...
Just follow your...
Yeah, thanks to snow. Slap the deck down.
Big fan of snow.
We need more of it.
For sure. Gotta get some sod. That sod.
But anyway.
Soil. Anyway.
With the Doors, their first track that they officially wrote together was "Light My Fire."
Ah.
And what's funny is that the ending part of that the final thing that was added to that song was the intro keys.
Oh, that's interesting.
He was super particular about it, and he's like, dude, they finished the song, but it was without the intro keys. And listening to it now, you couldn't imagine the song without it.
Yeah, that makes sense. I feel like, actually, I feel like anytime you get into playing this but different, those types of videos, I feel like one of my favorite things is that one Rick Beato video on YouTube where he's like, I hired / I had my friends help out by going through and playing Stairway to Heaven solo as different guitar players. So one is Eddie Van Halen, one is Stevie Ray Vaughan, one is I don't know, it was Buckethead or something. But it was just kind of cool to see everybody's take on a guitar player's attempt at a certain style.
That's
things like that are always interesting
it's
too.
Mind trippy to understand the concept.
Yeah,
but it sounds awesome. That does remind me of a good way to talk about that is listening to or playing metal songs but without any distortion. So it's real clean. It's just it sounds hilarious. The but with
yeah,
it's hilarious.
Yeah, once you get into the realm of metal, removing effects from stuff only makes it sound silly.
Yes, and that's why blues is superior, because you could play blues on an acoustic and it'd sound good. You play metal on acoustic, it'll sound bad. I'm kidding, guys, by the way. I'm okay with metal music. I listen to it. It's just...
On an acoustic?
Imagine.
Just get sweep picking on an acoustic. I'm sure somebody can do it.
I was gonna say, you ever hear the...
I can't.
Sweep picking on an acoustic?
But it's like a nylon string classic guitar.
Oh, that reminds me. Have you seen that video of Zach Wilde
with the
playing
Hello
on
Kitty?
A Hello Kitty?
Yep, it's lovely.
It is
absolutely lovely. I like the ones, the Loudwire videos with where he gets gosh, I can't remember the drummer's name. They get him to play stuff where he's he gets is a Hello Kitty drum set, and there was one with another child's drum set, and it was just talk. I don't even remember what the point of it was, but it was just really funny.
Did you see that video of the jazz drummer trying to play a metal song for the first time with only hearing it once?
Okay.
It was probably one of the coolest videos, and it was Enter Sandman.
Oh, okay.
And he listened to and it's a classical jazz And I think it was a fusion drummer. He said like he does like fusion jazz stuff with his band, and he's playing like he listens to Enter Sandman.
Yeah.
And then just on the one listen,
Oh wow.
they start the song from the beginning and they take away the drum, so he has to fill in.
Wow.
And he does surprisingly really well.
That's really cool.
Like, I think he only missed like two specific things, but other than that, if he was playing live, he would not have been able to tell that it was a different drummer.
Alrighty.
So let's start with the windows.
So the windows. The windows, the doors.
How many times do you think I can make that joke?
I don't know.
It wasn't funny the first time.
I know, but the thing is anything we say funny the first time, or is it just the repeated dulling, mind-twisting, just stupidity making everything funny?
I'm gonna make it stick. I was, I brought up that the keys was the last thing to be added to Light My Fire. Which is funny because, like, can you imagine that song starting with anything but the
I mean, I feel like any intro like that that's so melodic in a way, or like whether it's a smooth melodic that's so pleasing to the ears, or a like aggressive type, or not even aggressive, but like a screwball type melodic where it's like, that's different and I will remember it because of that. I feel like things like that are definitely where you start getting into the territory of being unique creates such an interesting contrast.
And the Doors are definitely, if not anything else, very unique. I mean, they don't have a bass player, so like each instrument has to like
incorporate
really
bass,
stand out. They have to really stand out. So, and like that's what I love about the Doors in particular, is that it's not just like a guitar solo fest.
Yeah, right.
It's not just like every song you're like waiting for the guitar solo. And don't get me wrong, that's like 95% of my music.
Yeah,
so I'm not like attacking it, but it's nice to hear a different.
I was gonna say we just recorded a show on Stevie Ray Vaughan.
It was all guitar, right?
Yeah,
like,
we talked more about guitar in general than we did Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Right, and like I'm not attacking like the playing guitar or like these like the guitar being this showstopper, but it's nice to see something different.
Absolutely,
especially like the time period too.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if every band was Motley Crue, it'd just
be a good world, but
I mean,
variety would be
yeah,
lacking.
Exactly. The only variety you'd have would be like Too Fast for Love, and then
they incorporated a cowbell in Livewire.
Yes, Livewire.
And they never used it again. You know why? Because they realized it sounded bad. but that's a charm. Here we go, right? But that's a charm of Motley Crue thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can hear, because they probably thought, oh, dude, that cowbell sounds so cool. And then you never hear it again.
Guarantee you Tommy Lee was high and was like, let's put this on my kit. I just love that. The Doors.
Yes, the Doors. Well, one of my favorite songs by them is "People Are Strange," which like
that is true.
I gotta. Robbie Krieger was probably like me and you were talking about this even before we started recording any of these.
What do you mean? We don't hang out.
A lot of these like guitar legends play a lot of stuff that would be considered simple once you learn how to play guitar, because it's it's like pentatonic stuff, right?
Absolutely.
But Robbie Krieger was so unfortunately good with what he was doing, because everything not everything. This is not, of course, there's like easy stuff that he's made, but a lot of it is like super technical. Like, I was trying to learn the People Are Strange solo.
Yeah. Because
like the song itself is easy. I learned the whole intro. I learned everything after the solo, but like the solo itself, it starts with a bend that starts up here.
Okay.
So it's like a do, and it's all pentatonic stuff. But like to execute that, I'm like going through the song and I got the whole little down, 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 down,
Gotcha.
down, down. I'm like, this is it. This is gonna be my first song. This is before I learned the first song.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I'm gonna get this down, and then I get straight to the solo.
Solo time. Leave.
I get straight to the solo, and I'm like, okay, well, I'll cut it to like 25% speed, right?
Yeah.
And even that, well, like you just see him like before he plays it, he just he bends the string up, and then it's a and I'm just like, why?
Yeah, it's like the point where you're like,
way to
what?
ruin the simplicity of this
whatever.
song.
No, that's one thing that for me, my song for that was definitely Crazy Train, because you could learn the whole thing, even the part where it's like the really iconic part. Even that isn't horribly difficult. The only reason it could maybe cause some like major trouble is if your pinky isn't comfortable stretching to hit notes an extra fret.
Not just that. Well, at least like what I would see as like the challenge there is that like especially like when you're first learning it, is that it's a lot of notes in rapid succession. So like if like you're not super comfortable with that yet, it'd be hard to like do.
Yeah. Because I remember after learning that, I was like, oh, that's got to be one of the harder parts. And then I learned the whole song. It was great. I got to the solo, and then you get that like that pick double tapping thing. There's and
you're like, Randy, we got to talk about it.
Yeah, just that whole
you're
thing
like,
is awesome.
Randy, we need discussion.
Randy.
Randy Rhoads is cool, but Zakk Wylde's the best Ozzy guitarist. By a large margin, I'd argue.
Which, I actually am not even familiar at which album did which albums was he on then?
I have no idea.
All
I don't know what album was. Okay. I do know my favorite song, by far, my favorite Ozzy Osbourne song is No More Tears.
Oh, I love No More Tears.
The 7-minute one.
Yes, the real one.
The one with the solo.
Yeah.
That like I'm not gonna lie. I showed my partner that song, and I showed her the one without the guitar solo because I wanted to see what she would think. And then she was like, "Okay, I mean, like that was cool," but she even said it she didn't even know that there was a extended version of it.
Yeah.
But even she was like, "I feel like there's something missing."
That's funny.
And I was just like, well, have I got something for you?
Yeah, have I got news for you?
I showed
There's a version that's twice as long.
Keep in mind, Colton knows my partner. You know her, and you know her music taste.
Yes.
I show her the extended version of the song of No More Tears, the one with the solo, the real version. She adds it to her playlist.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
And it remains there.
That's cool. Yeah, it's always nice when you introduce or have that impact. I actually had a similar thing with one of our other friends. After a little get together we had, we sat in my driveway sharing music and stuff. The one who I said in a prior episode or prior time that we should do a Pearl Jam episode. We just sat in my driveway after I was getting dropped off at my house and just started exchanging some music stuff and it, it's the best feeling ever when you are showing someone music and then they hit the little like button or the download or save or whatever, you know what I mean?
Half of that Fred you're talking, well, no, more than half is music I introduced her to. That's cool. So like that was like the first song I ever showed her was Mary Had a Little Lamb.
Gotcha. And
the first Jimi Hendrix song I showed her was Red House. She does like the Doors.
That's good.
Not every song. But I feel like that's...
I feel like the Doors in general can be a very hit and miss band.
Well, they have a song called The End.
Okay.
And
they're still going to this day.
It's the kind of song that like you kind of trip out listening to.
That's interesting. I might have to give that a listen.
Because it starts out going like, do, 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 do.
Okay, I thought you were just going to leave it at three notes.
Like, I'm just, like,
it goes...
That's the last thing I do, and I'm quiet. Just the whole...
Yep. And then it's just like, well, thanks for joining us. The Doors.
It's like the song, it fills you with like existential dread.
Lovely.
It's called The End, but it's the kind of song that like you can only listen to once every like 5 years.
Yeah,
it's one of those songs,
that. I feel that. I get that way with like whenever I get on a kick of like Dream Theater. I always throw on like Illumination Theory, which is like 20 minutes long.
I still have never listened to a single song by them. You told me to.
It's definitely worth your listen, strictly from the standpoint of technicality and like prowess, as far as Petrucci's ability to pay for
that's a big
like to play.
Bearded, long-haired man.
Yes, beard, long hair man. He's fantastic. Just amazing.
The Doors are amazing.
You know, I have heard that.
And after this podcast, because I can't play music here for some reason.
Yeah, we don't want to get we don't want to get any more copyright claims on this channel than we need to.
We've I've gotten one before.
I've gotten copyright.
You dirty music
claim. I've gotten claims, not strikes. A strike is when it starts counting against your channel for the worst. A claim is when it's like, hey, so any money that this video makes, we're gonna take and give it to the proper owner. So,
yeah, like the fucking Doors need.
Yeah, right.
More money.
Well, that's just it, right?
There's only 2 members left alive.
Wow, really?
Well, Jim died of a overdose in Paris.
I suppose. I thought I do remember hearing that.
No, but I'm convinced he killed himself.
Really?
I'm sorry. I should have put a disclaimer that I was going to say that. Sorry.
Trigger warning. Little abrupt. I mean, that's kind of a lot to just dive into.
I was going to say trigger warning for this conversation about Jim Morrison, but he was pretty insane, I think, and I think he did it on purpose because he kept telling his bandmates that he wasn't going to live very long, and they're like he just seemed like the kind of dude who would know that it would get attention.
Yeah,
and I can't remember what year he passed in. I'll look it up right now real quick just so I could confirm a suspicion I have.
Alrighty.
So he died in 1971.
Okay. So
Jimi Hendrix died at 27. Jim Morrison died of a overdose in a
That's horrible.
bathtub at 27. But he kept saying that he was going to be the next member of the club.
Oh, okay.
So it seemed almost like he knew that it would be like some legendary death if he did it. And I could definitely take someone like Jim Morrison crazy enough to take their own life for the glory.
Yeah. I don't know enough about him to say that for sure, but
I think he was a great person. Usually there's a lot of interviews or of him just talking.
Yeah.
And he's genuinely super aware of the world. I mean, how we talked about LA Woman.
Yeah, La Woman by the Doors.
He wrote the lyrics to that, so you could tell he was in tune with life, and he understood things a little more than people give him credit for.
Yeah, for sure.
He was very smart, and his poetry is pretty deep. So I wouldn't put it past him to be some not fame seeker, but I think he might have thought that what he was sent here to do, he completed.
Yeah.
Because he was super, I don't know. Out of all these cases of, unfortunate, tragedy striking a younger artist,
Gotcha.
He's probably one of the only ones I think that actually like intentionally went.
Huh. That's interesting.
Yeah. Which stinks because a lot of people have that mindset, and I don't know how you are. I think we touched on this a little bit in the Eddie podcast.
Yeah.
But like
you can always refresh. It's been a while at this point.
About if like a band can keep going after a crucial bandmate dies. Like people are like, how could you have the Doors without Jim Morrison? But Ray Manzarek, John Densmore, and Robbie Krieger are still great, very talented, super artists. Like, they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And do they just not deserve to have a band together because Jim Morrison checked out?
Exactly.
Like, I think that it would have been fine for them to at least adopt a fourth. Maybe change the name from the Doors if they didn't feel comfortable, but they deserve to stay like in a band together. But
yeah.
But John, no, what's his name? Ray Manzarek and what's the other one? Robbie Krieger, kind of like invited John Densmore to be part of like a new era of the Doors, where they adopted a new frontman or whatever. John Densmore said no, but he actually sued them.
Really?
Because they were using the Doors name, and he was like, "You can't have Doors without Jim Morrison."
Huh.
I don't subscribe to that theory. I think it's like, I mean, like, look, AC/DC did it.
Yeah. Well, I think too of
Van Halen after David Lee Roth left. Like,
yeah, true.
They still kept trucking along. Motley Crue.
Yeah.
When Vince was out of the band, John Corabi, like, they still survived.
John Corabi.
He gets a little too much hate, I think.
You know who a really interesting guitar player is? This has nothing to do with the Doors. Are you familiar with Bumblefoot?
No.
He's very interesting to listen to. He did Chinese Democracy for Guns N' Roses.
Okay. At first I thought you were lying. It seemed fake.
What, Chinese Democracy?
Oh, Bumblefoot.
No, Bumblefoot. No, he's totally real. He's hot sauce loving, like old times Western clothes wearing kind of dude. He's got a crazy good beard, and he has this metal thing he wears on his pinky that's like a banjo pick, essentially. So he does a lot of super high-pitched tapping and barring for stuff, which makes him sound so unique. And yeah, you can check that out in your free time.
Because you brought up Guns N' Roses. Slash wasn't that good.
Well, that's all the time we have.
No, let me rephrase. Slash was amazing with the tones he created in the studio. He just couldn't match it live.
Well,
but then again, he was also whacked out of his mind every show. So
yeah,
maybe that's what it was.
I love the one interview question where they ask like, "Why the sunglasses?" to Slash. Like, why do you literally only wear always sunglasses, no matter what? And he said something to the effect of like, "I don't know." You know, he was like, "Okay, cool." And he said, "Well, honestly, now it's because I actually need them to keep the sun out of my eyes when I'm performing, you know." So, but then he said, eventually I just got too comfortable wearing them, so I just don't take them off. And I was like, okay.
He literally looks the exact same as he did for like 60 years. I don't even know how old he is, but I feel like his appearances has never changed. I mean,
no, you're probably right.
He plumped out a little. He was actually very skinny when he was in Guns N' Roses.
Well, it's called drugs.
yeah, but look at Axl Rose.
Yeah.
Homeboy looks like a 40-year-old middle-aged woman. A Karen, if you will.
No. How dare you?
But Slash looks the exact same. He just plumped out a bit in the belly.
Yeah.
The Doors. Jim Morrison didn't plump out. Well, he actually did. But he checked out quite early.
Yeah. Plump out, check out, the like commonplace type deal.
He actually plumped out. Well, so he was seen as like a sexual icon because he was very handsome.
Oh, okay.
And like that's what like he was seen as like model material, and like he kind of like ushered in a sexual like revolution of his time.
Yeah.
And there was a time like when it was getting like pretty bad with the way people like viewed him as like just a piece of meat. Is how he felt.
Yeah.
So he intentionally gained weight and grew out a big beard.
That's funny.
So like you couldn't see his face, and he didn't have his physique. But
That's interesting.
It really affected his health. And after LA Woman, when he left to like that whole album and he left to Paris, he actually slimmed down and he shaved his beard again, and everyone's like, okay, cool. So he might be coming back, and then like it led up to him just like ending it all. So like
it's like hard,
especially for like people close to him too.
Yeah,
because like he slimmed down and like he shaved his beard, so he was like back to his old self. So
yeah, like looking
improving.
up. Yeah, things looking up.
Yeah,
and then you realize it wasn't for the right reasons.
Yeah, and then especially with like, I watched a documentary about it.
Yeah,
and like it's like real eerie, like the small subtle things that people realize after. And like I feel bad for his bandmates because like they considered him like a brother.
Oh yeah.
So like the small cues that like normally they wouldn't think of in the moment, they hyper focus on now that he's gone.
Yeah.
Like they said, he would never leave until the album was done.
Okay.
Like he'd always stay and like hear the songs and see how they like came out. But the second they recorded the last song for LA Woman,
La Woman,
he walked up to them and was like, "All right, guys, like have a good one. I hope this turns out good." And he left.
Okay.
And that was the first time he's ever done that in their whole career.
Wow.
And like they were like, "Okay, like," because they were going on like a break of the band.
Yeah.
After that, because they released so many albums in like rapid succession in years that they just kind of wanted a break. So it was gonna be LA Woman, and then they were gonna take like a year or two off of writing any music. And so he just like left, and they were just like, okay, like it's kind of weird, like he's never left before.
Yeah.
But he left that or like that day or like a few days after to go to Paris.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was in Paris for like a month or two, and then he was gone.
Okay.
But like in that moment, they didn't realize it was that big of a deal. Like they just thought that maybe he was like tired or like done, because like they all agreed to a break.
Yeah.
So like they just thought that he was just leaving, but it's just I feel bad because if anyone reached out to him in that moment, maybe things would have been different. But
yeah,
like I said, in doing all the research I've done on Jim Morrison, because he's a very interesting character,
yeah,
it kind of seemed like he was gunning for that ending of scenarios anyway.
Yeah, it's always tough, the whole like thing with like the rock bands are, of old, when you get into the 60s and 70s, you hear a lot of stories that you wish you didn't have to.
Right. And
much like one story that is very near and dear to me, and that's actually the story of that we're out of time for this episode of the Rock Topic podcast.
I thought you were going to say like John Bonham or
no, that too. We'll cover Zeppelin in a future episode. But for now, I don't mean to cut you off and cut things short, but it's getting very, very late. And
this was the Windows.
This was the Windows, the Doors, the Power Wash. Thank you guys all so much for watching.
This one was a little more scattered than normal.
Yeah, no, we are both like nearly falling asleep.
But it's all right. I mean,
yeah, we're good. So this may be the most stream of consciousness / lack of consciousness episode yet, but it's going up nonetheless.
It'll be funny.
It'll be funny, or just don't watch it if it's not. So that's fine.
Yeah, I mean,
fine by me. Thanks again to the Osseo at Nickel Barn and Coffee Shop for allowing us to drink their coffee and hang out in the space, record some in-person episodes. Really appreciate you guys. If anyone here is around the Osseo, Wisconsin area and wants really good coffee,
or
blue curacao refreshers, or strawberry passion fruit, or whatever else you would like, stop on in.
My favorite is the blue curacao.
It's all really good. But thank you all so much for watching, and yes, once again, we'll be back with you next week for another episode. Or if you were thinking, man, I wish I could see that episode like right now, like really soon, just head on over, sub to my Patreon at patreon.com/RiffJaw.
Hear about the Motley Ray Vaughan group.
Yeah, exactly. You'll be able to see all these episodes.
Wait, the Windows to the Motley Ray Vaughan crew.
Yes, the Stairway to the Doors. You'll be if you sub to my Patreon, you guys will be able to see all current recorded and edited episodes before they go up. So that
How
way.
much are you charging? Like $69?
Well, that's actually up to you. I think my lowest tier is down to $3 a month. Not bad at all, in my opinion, for getting some extra bonus content.
Well, what's your highest?
Highest? Well, I mean, technically that's up to you, but...
Really? You could...
I mean, if you really felt like it, but we also have my highest official tier is my my merch tier, which is $35 a month. But every 3 months you keep up that generous donation, you're rewarded with an increasingly sized piece of merch with the RiffJaw logo on it. So we actually have first off, it's a sticker, then a mug, then we got a t-shirt and a sweatshirt following right after that. So if you keep it up for a full year, you will be the proud owner of all of those things. And I actually do have an example of the mug and the sticker so far. Still waiting on the shirt and the sweatshirt. Just to kind of round things out and, get a feeling. And I will say, pretty high quality stuff for the mug and the sticker thus far. But anyway, enough about me. Thank you guys so much for tuning in.
Thank you to the Nickel for hosting us.
Absolutely. And we will see you guys back again next week. See ya.